Today's outlook for severe weather and chances of moisture throughout the week. I'm Alex Makovica, joining you on the Rural Radio Network. Our weekly guest is Nebraska Extension's Eric Hunt to preview what's to come in the week ahead, a couple of those things being the headlines this week. So, Eric, let's kick it off with that. Severe weather chances. What could the state see here in the next couple hours or so?
So officially, we have a slight risk of severe thunderstorms across the eastern side of the state with an enhanced risk across the extreme eastern portion, kind of Omaha down toward Falls City. The biggest threat today will be well to our east in Iowa, Illinois, up into Minnesota. That being said, there is a chance that we could see storms develop later this afternoon, kind of along and east of Highway 77 after 4 o'clock this afternoon off a dry line. But realistically, most indications are right now that there will be too much dry air coming in from the west and southwest this afternoon. So most of the high-resolution models have been keeping it dry across the state after late this morning. So I don't anticipate anything in that portion of the state later today but if something goes up, though, late this afternoon, and you live east of Highway 77, it probably won't be real pleasant. There will be a chance of thunderstorms across the north. I probably call it the northern panhandle, maybe northwestern sandhills late this afternoon and this evening. Kind of some wraparound moisture from that low pressure that's up into our north and northeast. So some more potential for beneficial moisture up in that area. They did get some places had some pretty good rains there last night. Also some hail, and I think there was at least one tornado in Cherry County last night. After that, the front will go through the whole state later tonight. It'll be cooler tomorrow, but certainly cooler in the east tomorrow than compared to today. We're going to be in the 80s today. And then looking later in the week, I think we got at least a reasonably good chance of getting some showers across south central and southeastern Nebraska, maybe getting into parts of northeastern Nebraska on Wednesday into early Thursday. Not looking at significant accumulations of precipitation. I think most of the heavier stuff will be well to our south and to our east. And then I think everybody's got a pretty nice end of the week here. So a lot of sunshine, temperatures probably seasonal mid-60s to low 70s later this week. So I do anticipate there's a pretty good open window for field work this week, especially if we don't get any additional rain today.
You had mentioned chances up in that northwest portion of the state. What about the north central portion where they've seen fires break out? Any moisture chances up in that particular region, Eric?
There would be a chance of getting some moisture in that area of the state today as well. I think the better chances are going to be a bit further toward the west. But, yeah, certainly portions of Brown County where they had the fire last Monday. I'm not sure what the current status of that is. I know late last week it was still burning. They have thankfully gotten some rain in that area in the last several days. Certainly not enough to make a huge impact on the drought, but hopefully enough to be put out that fire. Yeah, by the way, I looked at the observations from Ainsworth last Monday afternoon. I mean, basically what happened was you had a front that came in late Monday afternoon, and the radar indicated the line of showers is moving through that area, but there was so much drier air in the lower levels that it basically all evaporated, and all you had was gusty winds. And you could actually certainly pick up the haze and the smoke on the surface observations as visibility's got down to like 2 miles for a point in the evening when the wind was blowing from the direction where the fire was going.
Mm-hmm. All right. Finally, you had touched on potential moisture chances next week. What could the state see?
Sure. Yeah. So essentially, I think what we're maybe looking at next week would be an area of high pressure, basically a ridge sitting off the east coast. And, clockwise flow around that, moisture coming back up from the Gulf. I think there's been some indication in the models that we may be opening ourselves up to several days of potential for precipitation across pretty much the entire state next week. Not going to be a constant rain, but I think starting Sunday and probably getting through a good portion next week, I do think most of us are going to have some chances for moisture. So, again, I think there's a pretty good chance of having some open planting windows this week. They may close some next week. There's places in the state where we really need some moisture before we get too deep in this growing season.
All right, Eric Hunt joining us with Nebraska Extension for our weekly weather outlook here on the Rural Radio Network. I'm Alex Makovica from inside the Nebraska Soybean Board Studios, brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers and their checkoff.